Hi guys, it's PS. In patch 10.5, there was a meaningful change on Blade of Ruined King. For melee champions, basic attack now does significantly more damage, which brought a huge BoRK sensation among top champions. However, because bruisers need to be somewhat tanky, it was hard to find the perfect time to build BoRK. Then, BoRK build became popular once the statistically proved build was found and pros started to build it. The build is BoRK Rush Irelia. Today, we'll talk about BoRK Rush Irelia's statistics, and we'll watch some gameplays to see if it's worth to build. This is the first core item statistics of Irelia in patch 10.5 among Platinum or above. In the previous patch 10.4, 85% of players built Triforce first, but BoRK Rush build gained popularity in the current patch. BoRK Rush has a win rate of 52%, and average time of completing BoRK is shorter than Triforce for sure. The time of completion is differed even more due to the Tiamat build before Triforce. Similar statistics is shown for mid Irelia. BoRK Rush has a slightly better win rate, but Irelia is better in top than mid. So we'll focus on reviewing top Irelia today. Back to the statistics, top Irelia's win rate has more than 1% point increment due to BoRK Rush build. The three core build that's been gaining popularity is BoRK, Wit's End, and Cleaver build. It's an attack speed based build, which makes her strong in 1v1. Let's go over some features of each build. First, Tiamat and Triforce build. This was the most popular build, which was good for lane pushing and passive stacks with Q. In patch 10.5, 36.8% of the build completes Tiamat before 10 minutes. Next, Triforce Rush build. This build skips Tiamat just to build Triforce faster. Cooldown reduction, movement speed, Sheen passive are necessary for Irelia, and this has strengths in 1v1 and in teamfights. But it lacks of lifesteal, which is a huge downside. Also, completing Triforce takes a quite long time. BoRK Rush build gives lifesteal, and it's pretty fast to complete BoRK. Lane sustain and 1v1 get significantly better. There was an option that pointed out the difficulty in teamfights due to lack of tankiness. That's correct, BoRK build is definitely good in lane. Today's focus will be whether BoRK Rush has any disadvantages in mid and late game. Lately, C9 Licorice tested BoRK Rush Irelia a few times. These are his builds and runes. He starts with Corrupting Potion and builds BoRK, Cleaver, and Wit's End. Besides Licorice, other pros like Showmaker, Bjergsen, Viper are testing BoRK. Most of pros build BoRK, Cleaver, and choose between Wit's End and Sterix for the third item. We believe that Cleaver goes for the second item for tankiness in teamfights. Runes and skills are the same as common Irelia, but it's good to have biscuits for lacking of mana on BoRK build. And Time Warp Tonic is handy with Corrupting Potion. Let's get back to the BoRK. It has unique passive of additional physical damage on basic attacks based on enemy's current health, which is buffed on patch 10.5 for melee champions. And it does additional damage to minions and monsters as well. Irelia's Q is on-hit skill, which is why good with Shin. So BoRK increases Q damage and helps stacking passive. This part can replace some of Triforce's benefits. Also, BoRK's active procs Conqueror stack, which brings a variation in damage mechanism. We'll check Cleaver as well. Cleaver as second item gives some tankiness and cooldown reduction, which is necessary on Irelia. Armor penetration and rage effect are also perks. If you remember Triforce and Cleaver for 40% cooldown reduction in patch 10.4, you can see why Cleaver is perfect on Irelia. Now, let's see Wit's End, competitor of Cleaver as a second item. First, Wit's End doesn't have cooldown reduction, but it's better on lane push and maximizes your attack speed. It can have the best synergy with BoRK. Its unique passive also has surprising sustainability in teamfights. Back to the statistics, the best synergy build BoRK and Wit's End has the best win rate. If enemy top lane and jungle are both AD, or you need some health in teamfights, building Cleaver as second item is fine. For the full 3 items, you build all of them unless enemy is all AD comp, in which you build Sterix instead of Wit's End. FYI, BoRK and Wit's End build is spreading more quickly in Korea server. In Korea server, pick rates of Triforce and BoRK are almost the same, and BoRK and Wit's End build is picked 21% of the time with a good win rate. We wanted to explain more with pros gameplays, but the gameplays before BoRK are same as regular Irelia, and most games were determined during the laning phase. So, we'll watch Korean server Irelia 1 trick, who's abusing BoRK and Wit's End build, and check pros and cons. First, both Tiamat Triforce and Triforce Rush builds take too long time to finish the build. Instead, BoRK build is about 2 to 3 minutes faster. Most of the time in early lane, she plays pretty safe. In level 1, she plays passively with E to just defend, and learn Q in level 2 to farm minions under the turn. Since bot is winning and Jax can bully her, she's being safe and just farming. With some lifesteal, she has a great sustain in lane. This is the first trade with passive stats. 3 pros that we can find on Cutlass are 1. Helps landing E, 2. Procs Conqueror, and 3. Sustain after the trade. As you can see, Irelia became almost full, and they make a clean dive. This shows that you don't necessarily need to go for a kill when you trade intensely. Once you trade enough, you can lifesteal and look for a dive next time. Or with Dive Fresher, you can force enemy recall and burn all the minions to the turn. You can probably do the same play with Triforce recipe items, but this build is easier since you have some lifesteal. Once you have BoRK, 1v1 gets absolutely powerful with the buff and shorter completion time. Final note on the laning phase. Just like the last game against Jax, she plays safe. Since Seth bought another Doran Blade, so did she and continued to play safe. This is when Vampiric Scepter does its job. She basically recovers all the health by cleaning the wave after a trade. Again in the scene, Seth engaged the trade, but she regains health right away. Then she can pressure a dive. You can only do this play with BoRK. She got a kill with a huge wave, and both of them don't have TP, so this is a huge gain for Irelia. Therefore, play safe in lane until you gain enough lane sustainability. Main point is that trade with Cutlass, at least you have Longsword and Vampiric Scepter, and take a health advantage to lead to a dive. After that, she lost a turret first due to Lee Sin's 2 ganks. Let's see what happens from this point. Irelia continues to go to a side lane. She needs to scale and still has a push priority. We can see an interesting play here. Even though Seth wasted his W, and Irelia has the red buff, this fight was very one-sided. Health percentage damage, lifesteal, and BoRK active skill allowed her to wreck a higher level Seth. Since enemy jungle is AD, she builds Cleaver for the second item regardless of AP made at all. However, as expected, she is playing passively in a teamfight. It is because one mistake can kill her, and there is no minion to lifesteal, which makes the teamfight even harder. We noticed that other Irelia 1 tricks and pros show a similar pattern that they avoid a teamfight as much as possible, and tries to split more. BoRK build is better at splitting than Triforce build. Faster core timing and Good item specs help her in a long fight with sustainability, even though she misses either E or ult. Thus, it is less reliable on landing E, which makes her easier for low-tier players and increases her limits. And even though you are screwed in lane, it's important to scale as you split. This build is cheaper than other builds, and especially better for splitting, which is perfect for Irelia. If you want to play Irelia as a strong split pusher, today's BoRK Rush build will be your pick. Today, we discussed about BoRK Rush Irelia build and gameplays. We believe that this was the purpose of Riot that enhanced Top's impact on the game. Hope you utilize this new build. Thank you.